Hey guys, Hollywood here. There are ponds out there, pond owners, who just have a 100-gallon, 200-gallon patio pond, and sometimes all you have is just yourself to clean a pond. So this is how to clean a micro pond by yourself. What would classify a micro pond? Anything that's under 500 gallons. It's a little hard to judge it without draining it down and putting it in a holding tub, but our blue square 500 tubs, obviously called 500 tubs, that holds 500 gallons. So if you can kind of picture your pond next to a 500 and be like, okay, my pond is way bigger than that, it's probably not a micro pond. If it's smaller than a 500, then it probably is. And not that there's anything wrong with a big or small pond. So what I used to clean the pond today, Aquascape clean out pump. Mine's manufactured by Barnes. I also have a Surumi pump, some long hoses to discharge the poop water away. Short hoses also come in handy for flushing purposes. I have a 100-gallon horse trough, perfect for cleaning micro ponds. You can get these at Tractor Supply or any, like, you know, Rubbermaid website or whatever. If you wanted to get one for yourself and your pond is in that 100, 200 gallon range, it's a good thing to have. Basically, drained it down, saved the existing water in the horse trough because I was not sure if they had fish or not. And in the 1,000 tub, I filled that with crystal clear city water so that it can look really good at the end. Put the drain out pump in the lowest point of the pond so I could there's a lot of background noise. Once it's all the way drained down to the bottom, you keep that pump in there, continuing to drain out. Take the garden hose and you just want to start flushing that gravel. This part I can particularly get lost in it because you just flush it and you just kind of look for the water to come out crystal clear. Even just moving the hose like an inch to the left like makes all the water cloudy again that comes out. So you can flush for a really long time if you want to, or not. All that just sets you up for the power washing stage. Now I like to flush a lot before the power washing stage because I don't like for there to be like an inch of slop on the ground and then I'm like power washing and blowing all that away. So as you'll see in this video, I flushed for a while, and before I even power washed, like the pond already looked pretty freaking clean if I do say so myself. But that way I can like see all the rocks, have a good view of everything, so that way I can power wash and just get those algae stains off and stuff of that nature. I also power washed the filter here. This pond didn't really have much filtration, but it did have that pre-filter over the pump. So whenever you clean your pond, you want to find wherever that filter pad is or that filter box, filter thing is, and you want to flush that out. If you leave that full of muck, you can clean it all you want, but then it'll kind of just get mucky again pretty quickly. So I had to power wash that out too. And once I was done with power washing, then I got the garden hose back and flushed some more. Sometimes when I'm doing that, I'll actually take the garden hose and just put it in like a corner or under a rock or something and just let that continue to put water in. Sort of facilitates making the water run through the rocks crystal clear. Make sure the plants look good, put those back in, fill it with the stored water that I had in the 1,000, that crystal clear water. Try to avoid having that go like right down into the gravel because it's going to make it cloudy. I had it sort of going off of the waterfall rock. The water still got cloudy anyway. You know, a lot of times that's unavoidable. With this one, we'll have to come back in a few days to see it clear. Filled it up all the way and then just cleaned up, and I'm going to go treat with beneficial bacteria. So a question about beneficial bacteria, if it gets washed away in the cleaning, or, you know, if we discharge that out, the biomedia that is in most ponds that we clean, that harbors beneficial bacteria already. So when we clean that biomedia, we like to use the pond water itself instead of chlorinated water. That way it preserves those bacteria colonies. I'm sure some of the bacteria does get washed away, but not chlorinating all the media allows for the bacteria to still remain there and, you know, continue to cycle and grow. We like to add the beneficial bacteria at the very end of the cleaning too, once it's already filled up and we're basically about to leave, but then just go and dump in a little bit beneficial bacteria. That's just going to circulate in the system, going to populate all those surface areas in the media and like in the gravel and all that stuff. It's one of those things where if you didn't put beneficial bacteria, you might not notice the difference, but if you do dose with beneficial bacteria, the whole ecosystem will be thanking you, I assure you that. If they want to get fish, then it should be dechlorinated, so I'll probably just put some dechlorinator as well. That's how to clean a micro pond.
So this is our pond, which we've had in our backyard for 7 years. It makes our lives so much better. We hear the sound and it's so relaxing. We say that we don't need to go on vacation because this is now our vacation. Premier Ponds has been maintaining it since we put it in, and you guys have done just an amazing job. We never have to worry about anything. If there's any problem at all, you're here in a minute, and we love Premier Ponds.
So today we're talking about micro ponds. We take care of a lot of these features in the Metro DC area in Maryland and Virginia. They're just a lot of small backyards with a lot of small ponds. I think the main distinction with a micro pond is that you have less water, so the ecosystem can fluctuate very easily because you aren't able to save as much water and you don't have as big a body of water to have established itself. Whereas on a 4,000 gallon pond, if we were to save 50% of the water, that's still 2,000 gallons. On a micro pond under 500 gallons, we might only be talking about a couple hundred gallons. The ecosystem can fluctuate much more easily by not having as much volume. So we are careful on the smaller ponds to save as much water as possible. We try to do this on every pond, but especially the small ones, because that does keep everything consistent and the ecosystem thriving and healthy.
Thanks, boss man. So now we know the difference between cleaning big ponds versus little ponds. What's the best way to filter a micro pond?
Another question about filters on ponds. Definitely the bigger the pond and the more the fish, the more filtration that you need. Typically on big ponds, we use skimmers, at least one, if not two. I don't really ever see three, so usually one or two. And usually we have at least one or two biofalls as well. Some of the biofalls we install are really big, like the 6,000. I could sleep in that thing. Those ones are just great for having a lot of biomedia and filter pads in there to really clean big ponds. On small ponds, they also have micro biofalls, which are really tiny ones. But you have a few other options, like, you know, some people, they don't really have any fish or anything, so they don't really have much filtration at all, but it stays relatively clean. Other people use a piece of equipment that we sometimes install called the filter urn. It kind of looks like a vase that fell over and there's water spilling out of it. That is very similar to a biofalls too, because it has the filter pads and biomedia in there, and that's going to filter the water and keep it clean as well. But that one is specifically built for micro ponds. So you have a few filtration options still. Having any type of filter, something that can capture that muck and debris, it's going to make a difference. Hey guys, it's Roger, also known as Hollywood. While we are on the topic of micro ponds, I just wanted to touch upon the fact that I too have what you could describe as a micro pond. Here it is. You can see the fish out right now. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about my micro pond. I love this thing, and I think you can probably see why I love it. Got the residents right there. The factors that allow this mini pond to work so well for me, combination of you got the biofalls right there. I have a pump in the pond that circulates the water through the biofalls, obviously. You can see the different plants that I have, as well as a water lily. I have gravel on the bottom. I had a heater in there for winter, so that helped keep the fish all goody. Yeah, just this combination of things, the pump, the biofalls, the gravel on the bottom, having the plants, all that, along with the fish in there, which when they poop and everything, that provides nutrients for the plants. It just feeds this whole ecosystem. So not every micro pond needs to be an ecosystem. Some micro ponds, a client might have them for the sound of the water. Someone might enjoy having lights in their pond and seeing how the water interacts with the light. There.
Oh!
Wow. I've never seen them do that.
Nice, man. We are in the house chilling, man.
Dude, this is what's goody. This is amazing.
Yeah.
De-icer and everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, these boys are gonna live throughout the whole winter. For me personally, I wanted a home for little fish, and I kind of wanted a training ground for myself so I could get experience owning a pond. This thing right here, I honestly wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, it's got the net on it. I'd probably prefer to have the net off, but I would hate to have anything take away my little fish babies. I love this mini pond. Yeah, it's only about 300 gallons, but it's pretty much got everything that I want in a pond.
Premier Mark here. You guys just made it through another Premier Ponds YouTube video. If you're so inspired about the world of micro ponds and you want your own, you know what to do. Head over to premierpond.com, no S on ponds, and we'll make your dreams come true. Because we're Premier, and that's what's goody.